Cardano whales chomping at the bits as ADA price attempts a breakout. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. I really do. As we make our way through the bearish terrain, we're here tracking Cardano. I'm going to look at charts, but I think I want to start with this story of accumulation. This is actually an article from yesterday. Cardano whales buying up ADA like crazy as highly anticipated Vassal hard fork nears. But I really want to pair up and compare that article with this article from today. This is why Cardano whales are panic selling. And I want to kind of, let me try and actually move this a little bit so you can actually see, because I know you can't see the full article. I really want to discuss this for a minute. This is important if we're tracking Cardano. This is very important because this plays a role in the story of Cardano. Maybe not as big of a role as we might like to think, but the FUD and the misinformation and the negative talking points that are out there in the crypto media, it is real. I mean, there's nothing like it. And the shade that is thrown at Cardano is incredible. But this article, this is why Cardano whales are panic selling. I came across it and I was like, I got to do a video. This is the recovery after this dip, while impressive, is likely to be limited due to multiple hurdles and bearish on-chain metrics. With everything going on in cryptocurrency right now, the cryptocurrency space, I actually would say, and this I know I could be considered biased because I'm so bullish on Cardano, but I dare to say that Cardano has some of the most bullish on-chain metrics, right? And when I say on-chain metrics, I don't just consider the typical on-chain metrics like TVL and even supply and who's holding what, and who's accumulating what. I actually mean just the protocol itself. I mean just literally the blockchain itself and what it's accomplishing and what it's doing. Vassal hard fork coming up, tackling the scalability issues, one of 11 ways, by the way, that it's doing that. And so when I say on-chain metrics, I'm talking about all these different things. And just right here, I had to do a video. Bearish on-chain metrics. That's why Cardano's falling. Not because traditional markets are falling and every other crypto in the world is falling, but it's because of the bearish on-chain metrics. So that's that. But then the article goes on, the most significant set of holders that accumulate between 1 to 10 million ADA tokens have declined in the last 2 weeks or so. Cherry picking data is what this is. Regardless of the number of tokens they held, the whales have been selling for some time. This development indicates that the long-term holders are losing trust in the project and therefore the performance of ADA. The visualization does everything it needs to do. I will say that. The cherry pick data does everything that it needs to do. This huge decline is like, whoa, what is happening with ADA? Open up any chart, open up any metric probably on any cryptocurrency or a price chart. You're going to see probably a chart like this, depending on what metric you're looking at, because guess what? It's been a rough season for crypto, and all of these metrics are down. So the reason I'm saying it's cherry picked is because let's dig into the actual data of whales and supply, because it matters, especially when we're reading articles like this. Just to throw this out there, just yesterday, this was a headline. It's just a kind of a negative bearish tone headline from the same website, FX Street. I'm thinking they don't like Cardano, everybody. But shout out to ZY Crypto, because here we go. Let's start digging into some actual data. Cardano whales buying up ADA like crazy as highly anticipated Vassal hard fork nears. After a bloody sell-off for most of this past week, major cryptocurrencies struggled to rebound over the weekend. Thank you for including the fact that cryptocurrencies are down in general, adding about 8% to overall market capitalization. Cardano whales showed a flurry of transactions yesterday as prices were bottoming out to 40 cents between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. The firm tweeted, talking about sentiment. These spikes have very commonly indicated price direction changes for ADA. This could be a nice on-chain metrics data point actually to pay attention to for bullish Cardano vibes. After dumping a total of 1.7 million tokens in the past 7 or so months, obviously we know it's been grueling. It's been a grueling downtrend for ADA. Last week, it emerged that ADA whales with a balance of 1 million to 10 million coins have been accumulating more coins during the sell-off, buying over 200 million worth of ADA in the past 2 weeks. Isn't it amazing how you can have just complete opposite articles written, and only one can be true, and the one that is true is based off of actual charting data. And just, this is on Sentiment, this is on their website, and basically if we look at this yellow line right here, this is the 1 million to 10 million coins. This is the ADA supply distribution. If you just take this swing low back to May 11th, you can just see the rise right there. It's just a very simple graph to read. And this is essentially what should be tracked and what should be talked about in terms of within context of everything we're discussing, within context of what's trying to be discussed in this article. This is what should be discussed. And it's just one piece of the story, everybody. But I just wanted to discuss that and talk about that because, and by the way, they did this ZY Crypto, May 4th, they were also tracking this, right? Cardano whales on buying spree, signaling way more upside for ADA before obviously the big kind of crash that happened, but tracking the same kind of data. And you can see, it's important to note what's been happening in this downtrend on this chart. It definitely is. But if you look at ADA whales accumulating since March, that's a really important part of the story as well. And so I just wanted to track that right now. We can pivot over to price, S&P 500 index. I just want to point out, we're not going to chart it or anything, but it is, this weekly candle is green so far. You can just see. Let me refresh this actually. So now we're on the monthly candle. I want to go to a daily candle just to kind of note what's kind of taken place since the swing low. So S&P 500 swing low to swing high. I mean, you got to be kidding me. It took me to an ADA chart. I know y'all in watching this video right now, you're loving timestamps right now. Hit the timestamp because I have to find the S&P 500 chart. I'm not editing this video, and here we are on the daily. Now we're talking swing low to swing high, a nice 6% or so gain. Now the point of it all, what this translates to on a Cardano chart is it's very interesting to see this, and this is why traditional markets matter, right? So like a 6% gain for traditional markets equals around a 50% gain for Cardano. And so we have to continue monitoring just all markets in general. We have to continue monitoring, rumors that are coming out about interest rates, because the slightest little thing that somebody high up says, it moves markets. And that's the environment that we're in right now. But I do want to talk about the technicals in terms of where ADA is right now. We can go over to this chart. One thing I want to note, here we are in the green box leading into the volatile hard fork. It's the 63-day window. It's fine that we're getting kind of this, hopefully a bottoming out range for Cardano, and maybe we get a pump to the upside going into volatile hard fork. Can we go, and this is the question, can we go 4 for 4 into these hard fork events with these crazy nice moves for Cardano? And I have to dig into this maybe in a different video. I'm quite sure though, Cardano is outpacing and outperforming many cryptos in these moves going into these big hard forks. I'd be very interested to see what happens. It's partly why I like this headline over here on ZY Crypto. Whales buying up ADA because of the highly anticipated volatile hard fork. So going back now to the chart, here's what we're looking at. In the title of the video, I say something about a breakout. It's nearing a breakout because it is. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. We're going to monitor it and see. But a couple things are happening on the chart, namely something we recently talked about, the breakout out of the head on the inverse head and shoulders. But you can just see Cardano from this swing high back here before kind of falling down into this head, right? So the left shoulder start to the head makes its way back to the 618. Interesting about the 618 is the fact that this was kind of the formation of the head itself on the inverse head and shoulders. And it was also kind of this area of first resistance after the shoulder breakout, right? So I'm sorry, not the shoulder breakout, but this neckline breakout. So it breaks out, and then it's hitting that 618. It's a lower high resistance. We need to see on the short term Cardano break that area. Like, that's kind of a really pivotal area. Cardano trending below it right now. So the fact that Cardano is so close is telling, because Cardano ADA can truly be this close to a breakout if it can aggressively make a move through this lower high resistance. And the reason I really want to talk about that lower high resistance is the fact that if we go back to the daily chart, and this is to really illustrate how strong I think resistance is, the 20-day moving average. If you've been watching my videos, everybody, you know, like the 20-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, it's like the enemy of ADA, right? It was the, what's the opposite of enemy? It was the proponent of ADA in the bull market, right? The higher highs and higher lows above it. This is what we see this is what we monitor for bullish confirmations, is just continued higher high and higher low support above those moving averages, the green and blue. But for bearish resistance, guess what? The same is true to the downside, and that is lower lows and lower highs, resistance to the downside. And that's what we've been seeing. So right at the 20-day moving average is 68 cents. It's relevant, it's important, because at the 786 of the Fibonacci is 68 cents. This is where we're on a 6-hour chart right now, but this is where the daily, the 50-day moving average is, I'm sorry, the 20-day moving average is right there at 68 cents. So that resistance is real. But if ADA, and I mean, if crypto markets in general make a move to the upside, maybe traditional markets continue to the upside, and all markets are moving and grooving, this is a potential case for ADA to make a very powerful another leg up, which would be to the resistance alone. 618 around 61 cents is 6 to 7%. To the 786 line, which is that 20-day moving average at 68 cents, that's an 18% move for ADA. Now, it sounds like a lot, but this is crypto, and in a bullish environment, it really could happen. I'd be remiss if I did not say it's resistance, right? It's resistance. Cardano's at resistance. So we monitor for a pump, we monitor for a breakout, we monitor, right, a continuation of this rally that we're in. And I talked about in a video earlier discussing, is this rally really going to last? Is it just too easy, right? Or how long will we be forming a bottom for? It's important to take into context everything going on in the markets right now. But if we get a rally at the very least, right, the resistance is the most short-term hurdle that we're tracking, and ADA is right below it. So on the downside, you all know, if you've been watching my videos, we've got the head, we've gotten the neck, man, I can't talk. The neck of this inverse head and shoulders. We've gotten the neck for Cardano to potentially revisit, right? So we're going to see which case plays out. That's all we can do is monitor it. We're looking at around 46 cents to the downside if ADA were to capitulate. And I guess capitulate isn't the right word, though it would be quite a dramatic steep 20% to the downside if it happened quick. 46 cents is that throwback area, which we just talked about in yesterday's video. I think it was yesterday, happens 65% of the time. Doesn't always happen so quick like that, but a trickle down could also be an effect. At the end of the day, guess what? And I know there's going to be people that comment, "Wow, Dan, so you're telling me you don't know what's going to happen?" And the answer is yes, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm tracking it with you guys. I'm really monitoring to see how long this bottom could play out. And a lot of that stems from what ADA does do next in the short term. If ADA makes a breakout to the upside, and going back to that daily chart, if ADA can actually make its way and continue to the upside and start testing these moving averages, that changes the dynamics of the story a little bit that we'll need to really start discussing if it gets there. Remember, it's a little bit of a ways away, but the setup is there for the breakouts. We know one thing is true: Cardano whales buying up ADA like crazy. And we also know the highly anticipated Vassal hard fork nears. why couldn't I think of this headline for this video? I mean, I'm the worst at headlines. I'm the worst at clickbait headlines, but this is such a good one. I wish I could use it in this video, but I can't. Everybody, I appreciate you. Let me know how you're doing out there. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.